Hello, everybody, and thank you for joining me for another Tales from the Crypt review. Today it is Season 2, Episode 4, Till Death, directed by Chris Wallace and starring DW Moffett as Logan Andrews. And as always, there will be episode spoilers. This episode, Till Death, is kind of interesting. It's not really that great of an episode. I would call it pretty mediocre. But I do think it has a somewhat memorable character in Logan Andrews, and that's mostly due to D.W. Moffat's very wild, very over the top performance. I'll let you decide for yourself whether it works or not, but for me, it is at least memorable. I'll give it that. So, this episode starts with a cultural ceremony, I guess I'll call it for lack of a better term, and our lead character Logan is having his picture burned. Probably not a good sign for our lead character going into the episode. So then we are introduced to Logan and his business partner Freddie. And we turn out they have inherited some land and possibly some very shady ways. And Logan is also interested in this widow. Her name is Margaret, basically because she has money, she's rich. And things aren't going too well for Logan as he learns that the land he has inherited is basically all quicksand, swamp, whatever you want to call it. So now he has the idea to hook up with Margaret and marry her just for her money. So Logan goes to this woman named Psyche, who he used to be involved with, and it doesn't seem like it went very well. They definitely have a history together. And he wants Psyche to make some kind of potion for him, like a love potion, I guess, to get Margaret to be more interested in him. And I have to say, Logan isn't one of our smarter Tales from the Crypt characters. Why he thinks this is a good idea to have a woman he's not on the best of terms with do this, I'm not really sure. And of course, doesn't he also know that love potions never work in these kind of shows? I guess not. Like I said, Logan's not the smartest character, but he's amusing at least. So Logan eventually gives Margaret this potion. At first, it seems like it doesn't work, as she basically slaps him when he makes a move on her. But later that night, Margaret comes back, and now she wants Logan quite a bit. I guess it just took a while to kick in. I guess you just got to go with it. So the next day, Logan gives her more potion, and it's really, really affecting Margaret. But it's affecting her a little bit too much. She starts acting very strangely, and all this time we see Psyche is using her powers basically to make all this happen. She's basically getting revenge on Logan. So Logan calls Freddie for help because Margaret starts flipping out. I'm not sure what she's really doing, but she's definitely not being affected well by the potion, and she eventually winds up passing away. So after the funeral, Logan basically attacks Psyche. He blames her, says it's her fault, but she says it's not. So he basically leaves it at that. So Logan is upset that Margaret passed away, but only because he didn't get her money. And this is where the episode gets a little more interesting and where the character of Logan Andrews really loses it, which is kind of fun to watch, although the cheesy dialogue doesn't really help too much. I'm just saying, not the greatest plotted episode, even if it is a bit amusing. So at this point, we get a funny scene where Margaret appears from the grave. She basically jumps out at Logan. And D.W. Moffett does his great facial acting, basically starts here. He has a very odd, strange reaction, but it's pretty great. It's pretty memorable. So Margaret is now acting very strange as she's still alive, but all Logan can notice is that she smells strange, which I thought was funny. So Logan goes to have a talk with Freddie. He says, "You were wrong. She was still alive." Freddie says, "I don't make these kind of mistakes." Right before Freddie is then beheaded by Margaret in another strange scene, only now it's definitely clear that Margaret is a zombie. So makeup job here, by the way. And now we get another great scene with more great facial expressions by Logan, who tries to shoot Margaret. Of course, it really has no effect because she's a zombie, so he runs away off into the swamp. And he actually, at one point, falls into the swamp, and we get one last great reaction shot. I actually laughed out loud during this. This was pretty funny, his reaction when he's sinking. But then Logan escapes. And with the help of Margaret, who pulls him out because she wants to be with him, I guess, forever. Who knows? Logic's out the window at this point. So he eventually burns her and has her sink in the sand. So he thinks he's finally rid of her. But of course, Logan's drinking a lot, and Margaret knocks on the door and comes back one more time. So this is too much for Logan. I'm not sure if he passes out here or if he actually dies and is revived or what happens. But we see him all tied up in a room with Psyche, whose revenge is complete. And she tells him he can't take the easy way out. And We see zombie Margaret again, and I guess they'll always be together. And it's also kind of amusing because good old Freddy, his head is there. So I guess he's revived as well. So this episode, it's kind of all over the place. The writing isn't great, but it does have a memorable character in Logan Andrews. And I would say overall, it is a watchable episode that fans of the show might like once, even if it's not the greatest. So I'm going to give Till Death a 2 out of 5. It's an episode you can watch if you want or not. I could go either way with this one. So 2 out of 5 for Till Death. And as always, thank you very much for watching.